We are officially 2 weeks away from Election Day, and early voting is underway in several battleground states. Former President Barack Obama will join Minnesota Governor Tim Walz on the campaign trail this afternoon in Wisconsin, where early voting kicked off earlier today. And Donald Trump kicked off the day in Doral, Florida, with a roundtable for Latino voters. The former president delivered 25 minutes of remarks ranging from energy policy to the economy and personal attacks against Vice President Harris and her running mate.
There's something wrong with him, honestly. There's something wrong. And there's something wrong with her, too. She's slow, low IQ, something. I don't know what the hell it is, but they lie. We don't need another low IQ person. We had one for 4 years. We don't need another one.
CBS News political director Fin Gómez joins us now from Washington. Fin, based on current polling numbers regarding who is leading in the different battleground states, who needs Wisconsin more?
I think they both need it. I think they're both angling for it, and both they're lobbying hard to win that crucial battleground state. But if you look at Vice President Harris's blue wall strategy, I think it's the most. It's not so much as the easiest, but it's the most simple. If she runs those three states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, that would be her clearest path to 270. However, what we're seeing, Lindsay, is that we're seeing an incredibly tight race. It's a razor-thin margin across those blue wall states, especially in Wisconsin. Now, if you look at our polling, it does show, like among likely voters, just how close it is in those three crucial Midwestern states. And that is why, that is why she's campaigning so hard there. That is why she was out there at these three states with Liz Cheney. The Harris campaign does feel strongly that they can make an appeal to moderate Republicans, especially suburban voters in those crucial states.
And how much of a mobilizer is former President Obama?
Well, if you recall, Lindsay, back in 2008, President Obama won that election cycle, and back in 2012 as well. But right after him, Trump won in 2016, and then it flipped back to 2020. So former President Obama does understand and does know that state, and he does know how to win. And he's still a very popular surrogate, probably the most popular surrogate in the Democratic Party. And by doing this so close to the election, we're only 2 weeks out from today to Election Day, this is an attempt to really mobilize those base voters and also to remind those who might be on the bubble about supporting Vice President Harris that this is somewhat an appeal to those Obama voters, those supporters who supported him in those respective cycles. And if you recall, he did very well with blue-collar, white, working-class voters in those cycles as well, Lindsay.
Former President Donald Trump held a town hall with Latino voters in Florida earlier, attacking Harris again, calling her lazy, having a low IQ. Vice President Harris will be participating in an interview with Telemundo this evening. Why are both candidates courting Latinos today, and do we know who has been more effective at courting them?
Well, right now, Lindsay, if you look at the latest polling, it does show that the margins of difference between Harris and Trump are not as significant as they have been between Republicans and Democrats in previous cycles amongst the Latino electorate. The Latino electorate is more up for grabs, if you will, if you look at that same data, and it's crucial in those battleground states, especially out west in Arizona and Nevada, but also in places like Pennsylvania, where if you go to Reading, there's an area called that is predominantly Latino that is more up for grabs. That's why, in speaking to some senior Trump campaign officials, they feel strongly that they can make an appeal and win over those Latino voters, especially young male Latino voters. However, Harris is really has been really appealing to that same electorate as well. Part of her focus today is to focus to and appeal and try to court those male Latino voters. She is rolling out some of her ideas in terms of supporting small businesses. If you look at the statistics, Lindsay, since 2019, about 40% of startups in this country have been Latino owners who have done so. So there's a lot of in that electorate, a lot of small business owners who are Latino. It's also the largest amount of potential Latino voters in this cycle than in previous cycles. It's up 4 million more voters, but this cycle than in 2020. Approximately 36 million eligible Latino voters this cycle. So that's why both of them are courting them so hard.
Fin Gómez, thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay.